If you have familiarity in the topic, then you read the statements, and you try to eliminate things and make your process very easy for the second round. Now, usually what aspirants do is that they become very indecisive in the prelims exam, right? If you know about the topic, then you start reading about the statements. If you don't know about the topic, then you skip and move on to the next question. And on the third round, we actually try to improve your attempts and make it close to 90 to 95. Do not go through and read the whole questions, okay? You just need to read the heading of the question. On August 1st, we are going to be dealing with the number of rounds that you should attempt, the number of questions that you should attempt, and the way and the method in actually attempting the question paper, being the rounds, the time management, beat, everything.
I started my full-fledged preparation after I joined the Ultimate Assessment Program at Civilsdaily.
Civilsdaily.
There is a 12-month strategy which I have done on Civilsdaily platform only.
I reached out to the Civilsdaily team.
Civilsdaily.
Current affairs में Civilsdaily.
Civilsdaily.
With Civilsdaily.
Civilsdaily.
Civilsdaily. A mentorship program of Civilsdaily, and that did help me a lot.
Good day everyone, Sreejay here. As I usually start my session, let me ask you a very simple question regarding the same, and you need to be very honest in it. Have you ever walked out of the prelims exam hall wondering, अरे मैंने क्या कर दिया? 1-2 साल की मेहनत 1-2 घंटा में खत्म हो गई. I wish I had more time to attempt the questions. I wish I had attempted more questions. Have I actually marked the OMR correctly? Now, if you have thought about the same, then you are not alone, right? Because cracking prelims or clearing prelims is not just about knowledge alone. It's about what you do in that exam hall. Now, this is exactly what we are going to be talking about. Exactly tomorrow, 7 p.m. on August 1st, we are going to be dealing with the number of rounds that you should attempt, the number of questions that you should attempt, and the way and the method in actually attempting the question paper, being the rounds, the time management, beat, everything. Now, you must be wondering, there are around 100 videos regarding the strategies out there in YouTube. Now, why should I watch you? The answer is, let me show you, because this is going to be the most comprehensive session ever on YouTube regarding the number of attempts, time management, and beat anything regarding on how you should attempt the paper. I'll tell you an example regarding the number of attempts. Now, all of you have a very basic idea regarding the number of rounds, right? We mostly do it in 3 rounds, wherein the first round, we attempt all the easy questions, wherein you are 100% sure of the answer. The second round, we actually attempt most of the questions, wherein you are able to eliminate at least 1 option or even 2 options. And on the third round, we actually try to improve your attempts and make it close to 90 to 95. Now, this is exactly what the mentors and the faculty is basically out there tell to you. But then, is it just the only things that you should think about when you actually attempt the rounds? Definitely no. Let me tell you, there's more to these rounds than basically what these faculties and the mentors basically tell you. I'll tell you in detail what should you do in case of the number of rounds here. Now, what should you attempt in the first round? First of all, do not go through and read the whole questions, okay? You just need to read the heading of the question. Let's say, consider the following statements regarding fundamental rights. If you know in detail about the fundamental rights, you then go and read the statements. Okay, if you do not know anything about the fundamental rights, then you circle the question and then you move on to the second question. What else? So you basically read the questions and the topics which you are familiar. You attempt only those questions which you are 100% sure that this is the answer. Next one, you can skip a lot of questions, okay? It's not that you should read all the 100 questions in the first round. No, you cannot skip the big questions. You can skip the statement and recession wala questions. You can skip the 5 or more statement questions. And especially, the goal in the first round is that whatever you attempt, there should be more than 90% accuracy. And you should be completing your first round, wherein you read from 1 to 100 and you should be attempting close to 20 to 30 questions. Now, this is a basic strategy regarding the first round. Let me explain in detail. Okay, so what is the process? You actually read the question. If you know about the topic, then you start reading about the statements. If you don't know about the topic, then you skip and move on to the next question. Okay, so let's say you are going to be reading about this question. Now here on the left hand side, you can see that with reference to polyethylene terephthalate, the use of which is so widespread in our daily lives, consider the following statements. Now, what do you do in the first round? If you have detailed knowledge regarding polyethylene terephthalate, you actually go through the 4 statements given below. Else, if you don't have much knowledge regarding polyethylene terephthalate, then what do? You skip the question and move to the second round. Now, what about this question? The Prime Minister recently inaugurated the new circuit house near Somnath Temple. If you have knowledge regarding Somnath Temple, if you have knowledge regarding the recent Prime Minister's visit, you read the rest of the three statements, or else what do? You actually skip these questions to the second round. Okay? So firstly, you don't need to read the whole statements in the first round. Rather, you only read the question. If you have familiarity in topic, or if you have abundant knowledge regarding the topic, then what you need to do? You then go and read the statements. So this is the first and the foremost thing. Now, secondly, what do you need to do? You need to skip a lot of things. Now, what are the questions that you need to skip? Let's say in 2020, there were two very big questions regarding the Internet of Things. So you can skip all these questions which require a lot of time. You can again skip if the statements are very long. You can skip those statements. You can skip those questions. Also, if you have more than 5 questions, more than 5 statements, then also what you can do? You can basically skip these questions. Now, how should you attempt? Let's say you are doing this question. With reference to Gucci, sometimes mentioned in the news. Suppose let's say you know about Gucci. Now what do? You basically attempt this question. Now, always when you attempt the questions, you should actually underline and attempt, okay? Underline and read. So, it is a fungus, and when any keyword or any key fact comes, what should you do? We should basically circle it. Now here, this is the key fact here. Okay? This is the key fact here. So, therefore, you should circle it. It grows in some. Some is the key word here. Now, what are the keywords? Keywords are basically those words which actually make the statement either positive or negative, such as, let's say, some, may, can, might. These are basically terms which make the statement positive, and you also have a lot of negative words, right? Like entirely, primarily, significantly, commercially, all, every, only. These statements basically make the statements negative as well. So you need to underline the keyword. And what is a key fact here? Himalayan forest area is a key fact. Now it is commercially cultivated. Commercially cultivated is the keyword here. Okay? And the foothills of the northern Himalayas, the northern India, would be the key fact here. So always when you attempt the question paper, it should not be left blank. Rather, you should underline almost all these words and circle the important keywords and the key facts. Now, then what should you do? Let's say you know that Gucci is basically a fungus. Okay? Then you tick it here. It grows in some Himalayan areas, some Himalayan forest areas. You don't know about it. Therefore, you circle it. It is commercially cultivated in the Himalayan foothills of northern India. This one statement also, you're not sure. So what do? You basically circle it. So you're sure that 1 is correct. Therefore, you can eliminate 3 only and 2 and 3. Now, this is what basically first round means. Okay, it doesn't mean that you should basically get the answer. Rather, what do? If you have familiarity in the topic, then you read the statements. You read the statements and you try to eliminate things and make your process very easy for the second round. Now, this is exactly what you need to do in the first round. Now, what else do you need to do? Should you apply your logical and elimination techniques in the first round itself? No, because logical and elimination techniques is basically something we actually do it for the second round. So you can skip all this. Now, as I told you, what do you need to do? You need to underline when you read. Also, if you know that particular statement is correct, on the left-hand side, you basically tick it. If you know that particular statement is basically incorrect, if you know that it is in the northern Himalayas, such as in the Jammu and Kashmir or even Uttarakhand or Himachal Pradesh, it is not commercially cultivated in northeast India, which is something that you know. Therefore, you can make it wrong and finally you can get the answer. So what do you need to do? On the left-hand side, you basically tick it or even cross it. Also, underline and circle the important keywords and the key fact. Now, if you can look at here, what is the difference that underlining basically means? Now, here you can see 2 statements, right? 2 questions, right? On the left-hand side, I have not done anything. But on the right-hand side, I have basically underlined the omnivorous crustacean only and the arboreal species. Now, what difference does it make? You are able to better focus, right? You are able to align your thought process and your thought process would not go wild, and you can directly or be specifically to the point. Now, that is the reason that we specifically mention to underline the keywords and the key facts. Now, as you can see here, it is a fungus. So, fungus is the keyword here. You have underlined it. It grows in some is a keyword here. You underlined it. Commercially cultivated is a keyword here. And Northern Himalayas, Northeastern India is basically the key fact here. So when you underline and circle, what happens? It leads to improved focus. It leads to structured thinking. Also, it helps you to eliminate these options in a very quick manner. So this is what you do in your first round. Also, you can see here the difference that it makes. Now, what do you do in the second round? Second round is where you basically attempt almost all the questions wherein you have eliminated at least one option. Okay? If you have eliminated one option, be decisive and try to attempt that in the second round and don't take it for the third round. Now, usually what aspirants do is that they become very indecisive in the prelims exam, right? Because the tension is very high. There is a lot of at stake. Therefore, they have become very indecisive. Now, if you become indecisive, what are you going to do? You're going to transfer all the second round questions to the third round. Now, would you have time to attempt those questions in the third round? Definitely no. Now, that is why we are saying that you should be very decisive. And if you are able to eliminate one option from a single question, you should attempt that in the second round itself. Now, in case of time management, what do you need to do? So, in the first 30 minutes, you completed your first round. In the first 30 minutes. Now, in the second 30 minutes, that is from time, 30 minutes to 1 hour, you need to attempt questions from 1 to 35. Then in the next 30 minutes, you should complete the questions from 35 to 70. And in the next 20 or even 25 minutes, you should complete questions from 70 to 100. So in exactly around 1 hour 50 minutes, you would have completed your first round in the first 30 minutes. And the second round, it would take around 1 hour 25 minutes. So by 150 or even 155, you would have completed your first 2 rounds. And finally, you can keep the questions for the third round, wherein you apply your proper intuitions, all the other different logics such as specific options, similar statement logic, wherein you actually take the wild guess regarding the same. Now, what do you do in the second round? You basically do all the questions. And what do? You basically apply your logical and elimination techniques, right? So its fibers can be blended with wool and cotton fibers, can be blended, right? So when it comes can be blended, it tends to be positive. It containers made out of it can be used to store any alcohol leverage. Now, any is a very extreme word. Therefore, you can definitely it is incorrect. Bottles made of it can be recycled into any other products. Again, can, making the statement positive, you can tick it here. Articles made of it can be easily disposed of by incineration without causing any greenhouse gas. Now, can UPSC say that not even 0.001% of or even 1 gram of carbon dioxide is not released? Definitely no. Therefore, you can make it incorrect. Therefore, 1 is correct, 3 is incorrect. Therefore, the answer would be A, 1 and 3. Now, this is the way you should do it. Now, what didn't we do? We didn't apply our logic in the first round. Rather, we kept it for the second round, because second round is where you have to train your mind to basically apply all these logics in the second round. The first round can be used for only factual knowledge, wherein the second round can be used for your elimination techniques as well. So here, second round, the first 30 minutes we have already given for first round. The second 30 minutes from to 1 hour, you attempt the questions from the beginning, from starting 1 to 35. The next 30 minutes from 1 hour to 130 minutes can be attempted. You can attempt questions from 35 to 70. The next 20 minutes or even 25 minutes, you should complete from question 70 to 100. And finally, you can keep the rest of the time, maybe 5 to 10 minutes for your third round. Now, what do you do in your third round? Let me tell you, in all the 4 prelims that I attempted and cleared, I have attended all the 100 questions. It's because that my logical and elimination techniques are one of the best out there. So I know that if I attempt 4 questions randomly, I will get at least 2 of them or maybe 3 or maybe 2 of them correct. Now that is the reason why I always attempt a lot of questions. I mean all the questions. So what do you do in your third round? It's basically the round wherein you attempt the questions wherein you were not able to eliminate at least one of the options, wherein the accuracy is just 25%. So what do? You go by your intuitions, you apply pure patterns, you apply certain logic such as specific method, similar statements, patterns, and all the other different things. So here what do? India's indigenous anti-missile program, American anti-missile system. So UPSC have a tendency to basically provide a similar statement. There will be 2 similar options. Of that, one of them would be correct and the other would be incorrect. So we can go with any of the options which are mentioned anti-missile here. And in this statement as well, you can see option A and option D is very similar. Therefore, you can go with either of the options. Now, this is a very wild thing. I know what I'm saying. But then if you actually go to the PYQs, you will understand that in almost 70% of the questions, this logic have basically worked. Or else you can go for the more specific options. Now, what are more specific options? You must be wondering why UPSC put this option, right? So here, why do you think that UPSC asked the option regarding titanium? Now, if the answer was not titanium, can UPSC provide? Okay, fine. Let's provide an option such as titanium. Would UPSC be able to think like that? No. Now, that is the reason why, if you don't have any idea, you can go with the most specific option. In this question as well, if Gopal Baba Walankar was not the answer, then why would UPSC provide such an option such as Gopal Baba Walankar, right? Now, these are some of the things that you go by your intuition, go by your wild guess. Now, this is what we actually do in your third round. Now, let me tell you, as you have seen the number of rounds, this is the level of comprehensive that I am going to be discussing regarding the time management, be it any other things regarding the prelims. So, let me tell you, it's basically a no-brainer to not attend the session. Most of the veterans out there, even when I'm mentoring students right now, I'm able to understand that most of them are attempting only 60 questions, 70 questions, 80 questions. Now, let me tell you, if you're going through the wrong strategy, you will be again losing your attempt in 2026. Okay? So do watch the session. Do join the session at tomorrow 7 p.m. I'll show you the precise strategy that you need to follow in order to crack the 2026 prelims. And make no mistake, even though there are hundreds of videos out there, let me tell you, this is going to be the most comprehensive one. So I'll see you all tomorrow at exactly 7 p.m. on August 1st, 7 p.m. Thank you.